Let me take a wild guess. You're here because you're looking for a way to furnish your home on a budget, but you are tired of the same old big box store furniture that all of your friends have. Am I right? If the answer is yes, then you should definitely stay for this episode, as I will be transforming this Swedish unique buffet and modernize it in 5 easy steps. Welcome back to Second Arts. My name is Agnieszka and I'm a furniture flipper and home interior enthusiast based in Gothenburg, Sweden. Today I got this vintage buffet that I got from Marketplace, and drama please, it was free. I have no idea how I got this lucky, but the owner even thanked me for picking it up because that would mean she didn't have to throw it away. But before I'm gonna show you a step-by-step process of transforming this piece, let me break down a few reasons why you should buy vintage instead of new. There are a few reasons why I love working with vintage furniture, and one of them is the quality. Honestly, vintage furniture is made to last and outlive us all. It's usually made of solid wood and not cardboard like today's furniture. And many pieces were handcrafted by skilled artisans who took great pride in the work. And of course, that resulted in more durable furniture compared to today's mass-produced items. Vintage furniture is also very easy to upgrade or transform to your liking and will often be more cost-effective than buying new furniture. You could strip the old varnish and add new stain, or you could paint it, or do such an easy thing as adding new hardware. And I promise you, you will have brand new furniture in a matter of moments. It doesn't have to be complicated, and I share many tutorials on how to transform furniture as a beginner, which you can find on my channel. And if you think that vintage furniture is expensive, because it's vintage, you couldn't be more wrong. Thrift stores and marketplace are full of unwanted and dusty, crusty furniture with lots of potential. They just need a little bit of loving. I personally have never paid more than $50 for a piece of furniture, and don't even get me started on how often I find free furniture that's heading to the landfill in perfectly good condition. So now that I have convinced you that vintage is better than new, let me show you how to transform this buffet in 5 easy steps. Let's start with the buffet itself. Like I said, I found this piece on Marketplace for free, and as soon as I saw it, I had to get it. I mean, look at the wood pattern. It's just one of a kind. But I do have plans to modernize it a little, which might be a hit or a miss. But what would you do in my place? It's cold. Oh, you get work to do. Cold or not, we've got a trusty V33 chemical stripper that works like a charm, tackling thick layers of varnish and paint effortlessly. I apply a generous amount of the gel and spread with an old paintbrush, leaving it on for about 30 minutes. While the stripper does its thing, I take a practical step and remove the doors. It makes sanding down every nook and cranny a breeze. This poor Carbide Scraper has been through a lot, but still proves to be a reliable companion, tackling both paint stripper and varnish on flat surfaces without breaking a sweat. I use this method when the wood or veneer isn't too thin and I don't have to worry about damaging it. The front of the doors was a different story though, with its 4-way wood grain. Applying the stripper, I let it sit and then dive into scraping each square individually. It's a slow dance, but necessary to preserve the intricate patterns without harming the veneer. Once I removed all of the paint stripper, I took my Orbital sander and sanded away with 120 grit paper, and each square gets its fair share of attention. I wish I could tell you this process is fun and quick, but it's not. Sanding this buffet took me around 3-4 hours, and the main reason is that I had to be careful and not sand through the veneer. If that wouldn't be a concern for me, I would have probably used a 80 grit sanding paper, which would sand the remaining stain and varnish way faster. But it could also leave small swirls in the wood and possibly damage the veneer. Remember, lower grit numbers represent coarser abrasives that scrape off materials much quicker, while the higher grit number is equivalent to a finer abrasive, which creates smoother finishes. Okay, so everything is sanded and looks super nice. I luckily didn't sand through the veneer, it's always great. But look what happens if I would apply varnish directly onto the wood. As you can see, it would turn very much yellow, and it's not the look that I'm going for. I want to keep this light, natural light color. So what I'm gonna do instead is to make a paint wash and apply on the wood and then apply varnish. But before I do that, I had to remove the trim and legs that are attached to the base. Even though I love and appreciate the original look of this piece, it crashes with my vision since I'm going for a much more modern look. The legs were much harder to remove as they sat glued to the base of the buffet and there was no way I could just deattach them. Instead, I used a Japanese saw that does kind of look like a big knife and cut the legs off. This little detail had to go as well, and my Japanese saw did great here. For the paint wash, I used two different paints from Fusion Mineral Paint. It's Cathedral Taupe? I have no idea how to pronounce that. And Algonquin. And how I make my paint wash is to take 1 tablespoon of each paint and mix with a little bit of water, around 250-300 milliliters of water. You don't want it to be too thick, you want it to be really watery. To apply the paint wash, I used my favorite Zibra paintbrush and applied the watery solution with the wood grain. Next, I wiped it off using toilet paper because I didn't have anything else at the moment, but kitchen paper towels work way better. Now that the first coat of paint wash was drying, I flipped the buffet on its back to inspect the base. And as you can see, I don't have a big spacious workspace and it's not even isolated, so working here is always a challenge. But I don't complain. At least I'm not working in my living room like I used to when I first started my furniture flipping journey. Unfortunately, I forgot to record how my husband added new legs to the buffet, but to seal it all up, I used a wipe-on polycrylic from Minwax. This product is truly great as it levels itself and gives a great protection to the furniture. All you have to do is to pour some of this directly onto the wood and wipe it on with some old rags. And that's how I transformed this old buffet into this modern beauty. In my opinion, this buffet looks so much better without that nasty yellow varnish, and the wood grain on the top and sides is so much more visible. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even got inspired to make your own project. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. What did you think about this modernization? Was it a hit or a miss? Let me know and I will see you next time.